are the... You must be aghast at the stupidity of whether it be members of the Metropolitan Police, whether it be members of the opposition party or prospective Tory candidates. One of them I know quite well and is an eminently nice bloke and a sensible person. But it's just stupidity.
So I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's very easy to be sanctimonious, by the way. So let's put that to one side. But I spent 30 years in the city, and in the firms I was involved in, you simply couldn't deal in the markets where you were making.
We're not allowed to bet on stocks.
And that principle of sort of understanding real conflict goes to the core of this. You know, so everyone attacks the city for sort of being badly behaved. Actually, I think our standards have been before I went into politics, and politics needs to take the same approach. It's a cultural concept, and it's taking a sense of common sense and applying it to activities. And I'll just say, just to finish, not to give too long an answer, but as a minister, I was always very intrigued, and I say this openly, I think it's important to have a discussion about how they handled conflicts of interest and so on. I always felt all they really wanted to do was check the box. No one was really thinking about what people were doing and how they were acting, and ultimately it's about common sense and knowing that what you do, if it's seen to be inappropriate, is going to cause huge damage to the system.
I want my delegate, my representative in Westminster. I mean, you take a step back. You mentioned the expenses scandal earlier on. I mean, Peter Vickers. I mean, duck houses, manure, dung. I mean,
I haven't got a duck house.
No, and rightly so. but I mean, I don't know. It's just things don't seem to get changed, do they? They don't seem to realise what real people care about, and this is something that people care about.
It's really important. I think the principle, and we've talked about honesty in this election debate, and I think that sort of for a lot of people that means different things. Whenever I give an interview, people always say at the end, "Gosh, you were so honest." I think, my God, did I say something wrong? But the principle, I think, sort of plain speaking, of being honest, I think of admitting mistakes. And the ramifications of this are quite serious. So, I mean, the FT had a very interesting article this morning and at the weekend about the decline in vote share of the major political parties.
Lowest since 1918, isn't it?
It's amazing. So you could have a situation, and this is important, I think, for your viewers, a situation where 4 in 10 people vote for a party that will get 75% of the seats. And genuinely, the public, I think, are watching some of these debates. They're looking at the manifestos or whatever it is, and they can't see it connecting with them. So I'm hoping, and I hope the Conservatives, and I do say this because I know the Conservatives have been involved in the betting scandal, as have Labour. I'm sure other people have too. But I think we've tried, a lot of my colleagues have tried, and I think Rishi Sunak actually does try very hard to be true about how he presents our policies and what we're trying to do, but we've all got a long way to go.
But it's not working, isn't it? If you look at the UK to France, there is a feeling like, well, we've tried this, we've tried the mainstream parties, it's not working for us. What could possibly go wrong if we try something different? How do you change that narrative with just days to go before the election? How do you change that view? We may as well try something else.
I mean, it's very difficult. If I think as a Conservative, it's frustrating for me that the noise takes us away from the real arguments, which is about what do the two main parties who are likely to become, the prime ministerial, to occupy Downing Street after the election, what do they stand for? What are the differences? For me, politics is about character. And you have to look back at history. Kissinger said that, the character of a country is its history. The same with a political party. And I'm very frustrated as a Tory who believes in the city, financial services, capitalism, human liberty and so on, and less regulation, freeing people up. That argument is being lost in the noise because people are more interested and also they can relate to a betting scandal. It's very frustrating for me.